Welcome back to the Lady's Choice. I think we have a minor error here. It is not Arabella who wants to dance with me. It's Mr. Amesbury who wants to dance with me, right? You did promise, even if it's taken me some time to ask for it. I would be most delighted, Mr. Amesbury. I notice Arabella's grin as Mr. Amesbury leads me towards the space where the couples have begun to line up. I'm amazed the flooring has not been worn through with the amount of partners that have danced upon it this evening. We stand across from each other, and I can't help but notice his smile is not as wide as it had been. Instead, he stares at me with what I can only assume is curiosity. When the music starts, I step forward, curtsying before him, and then stepping back into the line of ladies. It is then his turn to step towards me. Do you enjoy dancing? Not usually, no. But I find the correct partner can truly make a difference. So you would risk doing something in order to spend time with certain people? Not necessarily. We step away and I raise a brow in questioning. Do you have something to confess on the matter? His blatant avoidance of speaking about the truth forces a teasing smile from me. And as he steps close again, I can see his lips purse in uncertainty. You are bold to tease me on such a serious topic, Miss Bennet. His voice is hushed, his head close to mine as his hand rests back to lead down to the center of the other couples. And on what topic would that be, Mr. Amesbury? I feign surprise and notice a smile flicker across his face. You know exactly what topic. Oh, we're both teasing each other about the fact that he is the swindler. He spins me around so as we stand face to face. If any had been clever enough to guess what your hints were all evening, I would be exposed as the swindler. It's strange to hear him admit it, even if I had already known the truth. It seemed only fair to have my own fun. You did steal a kiss from me, after all. Steal? He gives a deep, hushed laugh. You did not seem so reluctant to it at the time. I'd apologize for it, but I fear it would be insincere on my part. I did so enjoy it. His half-lidded gaze and bold words fall as a couple come to pass near us. He takes my hand and we walk around, separating for a moment before drawing back together. Well, you are certainly a most gentlemanly figure now. All polite refinement and elegant dancing. Oh, if I could only be so honest with you in this setting. You are certainly not quite as bold without your mask. He pulls me a little closer and I am aware of our nearness as whispers begin to sound about us. Did it ever think it may only be you who makes me so nervous? And wearing that mask allows me the freedom to speak to you as I wish I always could. Then perhaps you should wear the mask all the time. Maybe I shall and see where it leads. His gaze flickers to my lips and I struggle to breathe beneath the intensity of his gaze. My mind races with the memory of his kiss, the warmth of his lips, the need in his touch, the excitement of it all. It is a few moments before we realize the music has stopped and the other couples have left the floor. Mr. Amesbury leads me over to where Arabella and Ernest stood. I'm quite parched after that dance. Then allow me to fetch you a drink, Lady Ashbourne. I shall join you. The men give their bows before moving off through the crowd together. As soon as they're gone, Arabella instantly shifts closer and takes my arm. It is truly past the point of my giving you warnings on such intimacy in public, isn't it? Oh, Catherine, I would care what society has to say, but my concern for your happiness will always outweigh their opinions. Still, maybe be a little careful. Mr. Amesbury has an untamed wild streak that I'm unsure will ever be stifled. She leans closer to whisper, which his nighttime adventures as a swindler will attest. We both chuckle, and I am now most glad I told Arabella the truth. The gathering was a complete success, many people talking about it the next day with high praise, and though I enjoyed my time there, most of my memories are from my dance with Mr. Amesbury. Strangely, there is a sense of excitement at my knowing his part in the swindler act, and having him now realize I know the truth of it. But it isn't until a couple of days later that I have the chance to speak to him again. With Arabella once again out with Ernest, I'm left to the peace of my own company. I've just settled down to tea and embroidery when Johnson announces a visitor. Mr. Amesbury, see you again. I stand from my place as Mr. Amesbury strides inside, a bright smile playing at his lips. Good day to you, Miss Bennet. To you too, Mr. Amesbury. He steps further into the room, glancing about it in inspection. I find you alone today. Yes, Arabella is otherwise engaged. She most certainly soon will be if the rumors about her and Colonel Foxley are to be believed. But I confess I'd hoped to catch you on your own. Oh, and I confess I've been hoping to see you alone. Hoping to speak candidly on certain subjects? Speak more openly? Well, I suppose I should not be surprised to find you so upfront about it. You are the most headstrong person I know. Something I hope will never change about you. He suddenly clears his throat to break the quiet tension building in the room. As I settle back into the seat, he comes to stand beside me. But I suppose the topic cannot be avoided forever, and now you know the truth, I feel I should explain myself. He begins to pace a little, uncertainty making his shoulders hunch. It's a strange pose to see from such a normally self-assured man. It was not my intent to become a thief on entering society this year. I simply grew very, very bored without the company of Pierce. I found the cloak and the hat, and an idea formed. An idea, I admit, that may have been partly inspired by the new novels I've been reading. But then, he frowns more slightly. He frowned slightly, turning to face me fully. Then I met you. At the opening ball, I found myself drawn to you the moment we were introduced. You are a woman that most certainly stands out amongst the crowds. Oh my goodness. Well, I can understand your reasons for what you're doing. To find some way to add excitement to our lives is a great pursuit, but still there's a danger to it for you and whoever you decide to come upon. You need not worry yourself with such a thing. I would never hurt anyone in what I'm doing. You carry a gun. It's merely for effect. Some might argue that simply carrying such a weapon is tempting such danger. I doubt that. I never load the thing. If there are ever signs of a real altercation, I would simply leave. The rich are not brave, excluding your friends Lady Ashbourne and Colonel Foxley, of course. Yes. In fact, Colonel Foxley and even Arabella were close to fighting back at you on times when you accosted us. Yet you stayed at those times. In those instances, the risk was worth it. I appreciate your compliment. Still, I fear for what may happen one day, even by accident. Please tell me you will no longer use the gun should you continue with being the swindler. It was never my intent. Please. I give you my solemn vow, Miss Bennet. I will never touch a gun again. For a moment I assume he's teasing me, as he often does in serious moments. Instead I find his gaze serious and steady, his words spoken with honesty. I raise my hand to take his fingers wrapping around mine instantly at the touch. Thank you. He sits on the seat beside me, our legs almost touching. You're most welcome. We spend the rest of the afternoon talking and laughing on lighter topics. It's not until Arabella arrives home that we realize the time has passed so quickly. I thought he was going to propose to me, but apparently not. No, he's not actually proposing marriage to me. He wanted to talk about the swindler stuff. The rest of the week, Mr. Amesbury and I managed to meet frequently at events. We often hear of the exploits of the swindler, both of us glancing at each other knowingly. Later in the week, we arranged to meet at the assembly rooms with a group. It's a shame Mr. Amesbury couldn't join us today. Indeed it is. My excitement for the meeting had deflated on receiving the apologies. Mr. Amesbury had sent us a note that morning saying he would not be able to join us. He seems a decent fellow, and I have much enjoyed growing an acquaintance with him. I jumped slightly as Arabella rests her hand on mine. I'm sure only the most serious of reasons would have kept him from you. I smile in gratitude at her words. Come now, his absence does not mean we cannot enjoy ourselves. I've treasured meeting with you both so regularly of late. Yes, we've become quite the pair, have we not? Though the Colonel blushes deeply, I cannot help but notice the small smile that flickers on his lips at her words. I did not mean to keep the two of you parted this season. Please, Colonel, we've all been busy in our own ways. It does not mean our friendships will fade. I smile at Arabella, who squeezes my hand a little tighter. Oh, have you heard the news? Oh, Jesus, Miss Witter. Oh, okay. Hi, nice to see you again, I guess.